Today I'm going to show you how to clone an SSD to a larger one without losing anything. Not your files, not your games, not even your memes from the year 2012. And the best thing is that we are going to do it with software that is very easy to use. But first, why should you switch to a larger SSD? How much disk space do you have left? 20 gigabytes? 10 gigabytes? Are you struggling with Windows because it won't even let you install the notepad? If that happens to you, I'm going to ask you to watch the video until the end. Don't skip anything. Between the fact that games already weigh at least 150 GB, videos, movies in 4K, and that obviously the software is getting heavier, SSD of 250 or 500 GB is no longer even useful as a paperweight. And tell me the truth, the worst thing that can happen to you is to see that the bar of the album is red and that it tells you that you don't have space. Or when Windows tells you that it can't be updated because it doesn't have enough space left. This is really a classic. The solution? You move to a larger SSD, clone it, and that's it. You are gone with the problems of slowness, the stress that it takes 20 years to open a program. You are going to live in peace with the PC. But what album do you buy? The cheapest? The fastest? Well, first look at the type of connection your motherboard has. If you have an M2 NVMe, I'm going to tell you to go for the M2. But if you only have SATA with a good SSD, the truth is that it's enough. Currently, at least so that you don't have a problem in the future of space, I tell you to buy. If you have the possibility, of course, at least 1 tera. And if you can buy a 2 TB one, it would be much better. But with 1 TB, it is enough and more than enough for the moment. And please, from trusted brands like Crucial, Western Digital, Kingston, Lexar, and Samsung. Avoid buying the records they sell, for example, on AliExpress that tell you 1 tera or 5 teras at €1 or $1. That is undoubtedly a scam. I'll leave you up here on the cards an example of scams of this type on AliExpress. But it's not all scam on AliExpress, of course. There are records that I use to this day that are very good, and the prices are very, very good. I leave you the link of these albums, The Golden Fear, in the description of this video. Enough theory, so let's take action, and we're going to do the cloning from our SSD to another larger SSD, and this process. We are going to do it with a software called 4DDig Partition Manager. It's very easy to use and very intuitive. You don't really need to be technical to be able to use this program and do this whole process. And the best part is that you won't lose any files. I'm going to show you this. It's not just words. I'm going to make a practical example and you'll see that it works wonders, really. 4DDig is a website that you will not only find the partition manager that is to manage our disk completely, but you will also be able to find multiple utilities such as to recover deleted files both on Android, on WhatsApp, on iPhone, repair damaged files, delete duplicate files. That obviously you will be able to find all this software, all these utilities, on their website that I obviously leave it in the description. But today in this video, we are going to focus on the partition manager with which you will have absolute control of your storage disks, whether they are HDD, SSD, or M2. Well, here we are. I'm going to do the example with this equipment that you're seeing now on the big screen, which as you can see has 2 disks. It has the disk where it has Windows of 500 GB and the other of 1 TB. You will see that this game has Call of Duty installed and several programs, and of course the 4D of EG Partition Manager that we are going to open it right now. We open it and you will see that the interface is very intuitive. The truth is, here we have the option that we are going to use today. Decloning disks, migrating to the operating system, making backups, converting disk formatting, partition management, recovering a partition that has been corrupted or damaged, download and update Windows and the toolbox. There are other options more. But like I said today, we're not going to focus on clone disk. You're going to see that here, it's going to give you other options. Clone data disk, clone a partition, and clone system disk, which is what we're going to do today. So you're going to click here. Here, it's going to tell you about the disk. It would be disk C, 500 GB, and disk A, which would be disk 1 TB, as you can see now. you click on Next. Here in this part, you will be able to configure the size of the partition. As you can see, here it says the size of the partition is 476 GB, which is the same size as the disk. Let's call it old. But if you want, for example, 2 partitions, you can leave it as it is. But if you want to make it take up the entire disk partition, because you're not going to do anything special, you're going to run this bar like I did just, and you're going to occupy the size of the total appearance of almost a tera. Or, for example, like I said, if you want to have this like this, there is a C partition for only the operating system, and then with this partition that is empty, you create a new one, and you will have 600, 700 GB for what you want to use. But in this case, we are going to do the demonstration so that it occupies the entire partition of 1 tera. So once you decide this, you hit Start here. It tells you that everything that is on disk 1 is going to be overwritten, which is the disk of 1 tera. I tell you for sure. And we wait for the whole process to pass, which is quite fast. By USB, it was quite fast, so I understand that by directly connected to the motherboard, it will be twice as fast. So we let the whole process go by, and we will see the results. Well, when this opens up for us, because you've already created the partition and done the cloning, we close this window. Anyway, we have to wait a few seconds. It will open for us because it continues to work in that partition, and we have to wait for it to be at 100%. And when it's at 100%, we're going to wait a few seconds anyway, because if you don't see now incomplete, if I give it now, it's going to tell me that still. The process is not over, but well, it is because there is something left there. But hey, we expect some
seconds and hit completed.
We close the program, and that's it. And now what I'm going to do, so you can see that this really works as I always like to show it to me, we're going to make the change or remove the old disk. Turn it off, and we're going to aim directly to the PC. .500 GB disk. And now we put the album, the Samsung, 1 tera's SSD in this B2 slot. And there we have the operating system already cloned with the software we have installed with the NZXT cam, which is the one I had. But hey, let's check it with the Warzone so you can see that it works and that everything is well cloned. We open the battle net, and we're going to run the Warzone. Play. We see that he already opens it. But hey, anyway, I'm going to leave you until the end. Until I load the game, so you can see that there is no problem, no mistakes. There we have it loading, and that's it. We're already in the Warzone. Works. Cloning works perfectly with this program. Before continuing with the last tips, no less important, I am going to clarify something very, very important. Listen well. I need you to pay attention to what I'm going to tell you now. The software is paid, but if you enter the link that I leave you in the description, you will have full access for free for 3 days. Yes, free, but with only one condition. The link that I leave you in the description will directly take you to the shopping cart so that you can buy it at €0 or $0 depending on the country you are in. And here comes the important thing. If you don't cancel before 3 days, the monthly payment plan will automatically renew. So my advice is to activate it, use it, and if you are not going to use it anymore, cancel it in time, and that's it. They don't charge you anything if you do this process as I instruct you. In addition, there is also this possibility to try it completely free of charge. Argentomatica only. You won't find it on any other channel. It is an offer that was made to me exclusively for you so that, well, you can take advantage of it and use it to the fullest. If you're wondering how you cancel it, I'm going to explain it to you now. You have to contact customer service at least 2 days before the end of that 3-day trial at the link that I also leave you in the description. It will take you to a form. Well, you fill it out with the data it asks for, with the reason for the cancellation, and that's it. So, keep an eye on the weather. And I tell you all this because you know that I don't like to sell smoke, and I wouldn't say that a software is free when you really download it for free, but when you are going to use it, you have to pay. Like I said, full access to the partition manager. We continue with the video. Ready? You've cloned it, and now what do? Well, you have to restart the computer and see if it boots you from the new disk. If you see that it still boots you from the old disk with the smaller one, you have to enter the BIOS and change the boot order of the disks. If this is very complicated for you, you can also turn off the equipment. You remove the smallest disk, the old one, and only leave the new one. Turn on the equipment, and automatically it will start you from that new disk. The other disk can be formatted to use it for other things or just have it as a backup, just in case. Before I forget, I also did tests installing a disk in this USB-C enclosure. I did a cloning and it works perfectly. Just in case you don't have, for example, you want an M2, but your motherboard only has one, well, you get one of these adapters, and you can do the cloning via USB. Then, of course, before formatting the old disk, I recommend that even if you see that everything starts fine in Windows, that you check all the games like I did. If you have programs, licensed programs, you should also open them and see that there is no problem. Once you corroborate that everything is fine, well, with the other album you can do whatever you want. And if you want, you can do a performance test with the Crystal Disk Mark. That basically, you put the album at 100% and see how it performs, if it is going well or not. And that's it. More space. Everything the same as before, and an album that won't be crying to you for a week for a cleaning. If this video helped you, I'm going to ask you to leave a like, subscribe to the channel of course, and share in order to reach more audiences. And leave me in the comments if you've ever cloned an SSD, or it's your first time. Remember that in the description you have, in addition to having told you, all the steps you have to do, and all the links you have to access. Read it very carefully. Without further ado, thank you very much for being there, and see you in the next video.